And it's really perpetuated by these record company owners that don't want the artists to get together and compare notes on them. Because if we can get together and compare notes, I learn the game.
Like this. I got paid to be on Big Thing. We didn't have that relationship. And to be honest, I don't think Pimp would have accepted a Jay-Z verse to be of equal value to him. So let's just break this bread.
Pimp C, what happened to him?
He died on Mr. Carter's birthday.
And Beyonce just did the halftime performance, and the license plate on that Cadillac was
Pimp C.
Thank you.
Sacrifice.
Just days before Pimp C was mysteriously found dead inside that Los Angeles hotel room, he made one last chilling phone call to Bun B. And it wasn't casual. He straight up told Bun to watch his back.
Every playlist is the same all over the country. It wasn't like that back then. You could fly on an airplane and go to different places. In every city you went to, they had a different song on the chart. Might have been a local artist that was #1 at the time. But everywhere we went, somebody had a different record.
Pimp wasn't the type to speak in puzzles or drop cryptic messages. If he had an issue with you, he said it loud, clear, and with his chest. That's exactly why so many people considered him dangerous, because he wasn't scared to call out the biggest names in the game.
I know who the gay rappers is. I know who let them models stick them dildos in them, and I know who did what, where, when, and why.
Wow.
So
Do you feel like expressing that right now?
Yeah,
Go ahead, no.
Say this again.
If you feel like saying it, go ahead.
Say this again. I'm proud of all the rappers in the South. I'm proud of everybody selling records in Atlanta. But everybody ain't my friend, and I don't like all y'all records. Now, if you want to diss me, get on. But see, you work at a radio station, and it's your job to answer me that question. And me being a real person, it's my job to know how to answer.
Right before his death, Pimp C started talking too much, way too much. He began pointing fingers, calling out Jay-Z for allegedly shorting UG on royalties, dragging powerful label executives, and exposing rappers he claimed were living double lives in the shadows. He was turning up the heat on the industry, and then, just like that, he was gone.
His mom thinks he was poisoned, and there was someone with him when he passed who was a very shady, strange character. So there is actually a person of interest.
The official story claims sleep apnea mixed with codeine was to blame. But if you know Pimp C's history, his enemies, and that ominous last call, that explanation feels way too neat.
When these two companies bought up all the radio stations and started controlling all the playlists and started putting handcuffs and bracelets on the DJs, they stopped all that. So everywhere you go, you hear the same record playing.
Even his own mother came forward saying her son didn't just pass away. She believed he was taken out. So what exactly did Pimp C warn Bun B about on that final call? Why did he feel the walls closing in on him?
Individuals. You have a lot of movements in the South that were very vital to a lot of people, and had certain things not happened, then the people that you see on TV today would not be there.
Yeah, like a swap house, I guess. With
Absolutely. Swap House is a perfect example of that. You know what I'm saying? There's a lot of different record companies. I mean, you look at, you're just with Florida with them nominating Luke and the 2 Live Crew, which is, of course, the forebearers. But then, you know, you had Slip and Slide come out of that who did numbers. You know what I'm saying?
And the biggest question of all, what really went down inside that hotel room? Pimp C was never the type to bite his tongue, especially when it came to the music industry that he felt had been robbing and disrespecting Southern artists for years.
So I called him instantly because I knew y'all niggas at the house. Right. I was like, yo, I'm excited. I got $1 million. This is it. Rockefeller is the shit. Hey, there's this shit. I called Pimp and these niggas fight. So I calmed them down. And then once Pimp locked in, he was like, wait a minute, Rockefeller. Ain't that where Jay-Z at? I was like, yeah. And I didn't get the connection. I was like, he was like, tell him to take that check over to Tupac mama and give it to him for stealing all Tupac's shit. And I'm like, what?
I put him on that Pac life, boy. he went, once I let him hear that Tupac, he went on his mission for me.
In those final interviews before his sudden death in 2007, Pimp C made it crystal clear. He was fed up with the way labels treated him and Bun B like pawns instead of pioneers. He told XXL magazine straight up that the industry was crooked to its core. Executives didn't care about the artists, the culture, or the blood, sweat, and tears that built hip-hop. All they cared about was control, locking down the product, squeezing out every last dollar, and leaving the very people who made the music underpaid and underappreciated. But here's where it gets crazy. Instead of addressing the truth he was exposing, HypeCeleb tried to flip it back on him. They basically asked if he felt guilty for being so unfiltered and outspoken, even suggesting he was hurting UGK by being too bullheaded. That was their angle.
He heard him say that, yo?
Yeah, Jay heard him. He heard him. Because I had to jump up and apologize for this nigga to clean that shit up quick. Because I was like, I didn't realize he was in the room. So when I seen Hov there, I was like, oh. And so I told him he had to come down and go see them and go talk to mama and go to lunch with, go to dinner with them and sit down and do it the right way. Because that's just how Pimp did. If you didn't sit down and eat dinner with him and his mama, he ain't gonna break bread with you. That was just the game. Like, that's how he was raised. He had studied music. It was different, man. He knew music from the Conservatory Music of Art. He had studied from an orchestra standpoint. His mom had invested in his career. So to be who he was, so by the time people seen him, it was the counterculture of discovering hip hop and rap down there. And they were like a country version of Run DMC, him and Bun.
Great artists.
Or the
artists.
new Ghetto Boys. It was like Jay Prince had them as the new Ghetto Boys. That's what they were. And luckily, he moved to Atlanta. We was able to get him with Short, and Short just put the game down, and the rest was history.
Right.
So that caused a ruckus because when they missed the first two Jay-Z albums because of it. And the next time around, I knew not to call Pimp because him and Jazzy was beefing.
But Pimp C wasn't having it. He clapped back instantly saying, "You've been programmed to think I'm bullheaded." Pimp C wasn't just running his mouth, he was spilling secrets the industry never wanted out. He said straight up, "I know what's really going on. I know who's living double lives. I know who's really moving weight and who just pretending, and I know who's fronting for the cameras." And then he painted the picture. In Houston, the only rapper he saw hitting the mall alone was Slim Thug. Everybody else, surrounded by bodyguards like they were scared to even step in the same neighborhoods they claimed to represent, that's when Pimp dropped one of his most infamous lines. "Ain't no stars down here, only stars in the sky." He wanted it known. All that fake celebrity energy meant nothing if you weren't authentic. To him, realness was everything, and he had no patience for corporate puppets posing like street legends. And he didn't stop at the South either.
We didn't have that relationship. And to be honest, I don't think Pimp would have accepted a Jay-Z verse to be of equal value to him. So let's just break this bread and be done with it.
Right.
And to be honest, Pimp and Jay didn't really have a relationship in that sense. There was a lot of mutual respect, but Hov and I were always closer. You know what I'm saying? I ended up getting a feature. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. But no, it was really just about, like, we worked very hard to get where we are, and we're successful now for being purely who we have always said we were. Riding Dirty, most critically acclaimed album we ever released, gold album, not one music video. You know what I'm saying? And to get to that point and to possibly in his mind throw it all away, because this dude want to pay you some money to do a verse on a beat that you would never rap to. You know what I'm saying? It just seemed like a lot. And it took a lot to kind of bring him back around to the idea of being a part of it, to the point where I just like reverse psychology. Like, fuck it, don't do it then. Fuck it. Like, don't even worry about it. Fuck it. We ain't gonna do it. I'm just telling me we ain't gonna do it. You don't want to do it. Fuck it. You know what I'm saying? All right, Pee-wee. Fuck it. I'm a doubt. But Big Pimpin was not like in his top 10 UGK songs. Like,
he didn't even want to do another one.
Pimp C started dragging the East Coast industry gatekeepers too, the execs and power players who constantly looked down on Southern rap. Both he and Bun B spoke on how the South built culture, made hits, and carried movements, but the credit and the cash always got funneled elsewhere. Bun saw it as exploitation, plain and simple.
He lined up D-Haven, stole his life and identity. He lined up Big L, stole his life and identity. He lined up Dame Dash, stole his life, identity, and took his love. Yeah. I'm saying, Sean Carter, you're a piece of shit. Taking Pimp C wasn't bad enough. You just want to go down there and you want to just remove all of the balls from every real gangster in Houston. Why did that house burn up? Who the fuck to their childhood house for a visit and the shit goes up in flames.
That was very weird. The next day, within a week?
And no, the next day.
The next day.
And still, no real investigation on how the house just went up in flames.
Man.
I guess they paid y'all off.
But here's where Pimp went even further. He began calling out people everyone else was scared to even mention. That included Jay-Z himself. Despite the massive success of Big Pimpin', Pimp C and Bun B were vocal about being shortchanged, not just on money and royalties. Pimp C's problem with Jay-Z went way beyond music. It was personal. He saw Jay as the type who disrespected real legends like Tupac, and for Pimp, Pac wasn't just another rapper. He was a symbol of raw authenticity, a fighter against corporate vultures who tried to hijack the culture. So when Pimp looked at Jay, he saw the opposite. Someone who'd gotten too far removed from the streets that built him.
Well, his mom believes he was murdered, and she basically breaks down the reasons why she believes that. I couldn't really. There's some circumstantial evidence that might make you think that, but as far as like physical evidence, I had some other people review the autopsy report and things like that, and they didn't really come to a solid conclusion as far as, you know, any foul play or things like that. But a lot of people have heard that he died of a codeine overdose, which is not true at all. That was actually, you know, the day he passed, or the day that the results of the tests and whatnot were not announced, the coroner said, you know, he did not overdose. And then you had all these newspapers that said that he did overdose. So that was just irresponsible media that came up with that story. But the official story was that he had sleep apnea, which is a condition which can make it hard for you to basically stop breathing in your sleep. And the story was that he took some codeine, which prevented his body from waking up the way that it normally would. So it feasibly could have happened that way. But there are some alternate theories, which I kind of explore in the book. His mom thinks he was poisoned, and there was someone with him when he passed who was a very shady, strange character. So there is actually a person of interest, according to his mother, that she believed had something to do with his death. So I wasn't able to really definitively come to a conclusion, but I've laid out all the facts and people can kind of decide for themselves.
UGK eventually linked with Jay for the now iconic 2000 smash Big Pimpin'. If you were outside back then, you already know that song was everywhere, blasting on every radio, every club, every car system. But behind the scenes, the vibe was icy. Pimp C was never the type to jump on just any record, especially not one tied to an artist he didn't respect. From the jump, he wasn't feeling Jay's energy, and a lot of that came from Jay's past, especially the slick shots he had thrown at Tupac. Down south, loyalty to Pac ran deep. According to his manager at the time, Dame Dash tried to fix the tension the industry way by throwing money at it. He allegedly put a $1 million check on the table just to get Pimp on the track, but Pimp wasn't swayed. He reportedly said, "Give that money to Tupac's mother instead." Pimp C's tension with Jay-Z ran way deeper than music. It was about respect, or better yet, the lack of it. Pimp always believed Jay had disrespected true legends like Tupac, and to him, that was unforgivable. Pac represented raw authenticity, the voice of the struggle, and a man who fought against the corporate vultures circling hip-hop. So when Pimp saw Jay move the way he did, he took it as proof Jay had distanced himself from the culture and lost touch with the streets. That's what made UGK's feature on Jay-Z's 2000 anthem Big Pimpin' so complicated. On the surface, the track was a global smash, the kind of record you couldn't escape in the clubs, on the radio, or on BET. But behind the scenes, the tension was thick. Pimp C wasn't one to jump on just any record, especially not one tied to an artist he didn't vibe with. From day one, he made it known he didn't like Jay's energy, and a big part of it came from Jay's slick comments about Tupac years earlier. In the South, loyalty to Pac wasn't just talk, it was sacred. According to Ye's then manager, Dame Dash tried to smooth things over the industry way, money. He put a $1 million check on the table to push Pimp onto the track, but Pimp didn't fold. He told his manager they should hand that money over to Tupac's mother instead. What Pimp didn't realize was chilling. Jay-Z himself was already on the call, silently listening to every single word. And once Jay heard that, things were never the same again. Now yes, Pimp C eventually gave in and did Big Pimpin', but let's be clear, he and Jay were never cool like that. The tension never went away. Bun B even admitted it took some serious reverse psychology just to convince Pimp to even consider jumping on the collab. And here's the crazy part. Even after the song blew up, went platinum, and became one of the biggest records of that era, Pimp still wasn't impressed. To him, it wasn't legendary, it wasn't life-changing. It was just business, nothing more. But the story turns darker. Jaguar Wright went on record claiming Jay-Z didn't just try to sabotage Pimp C's career. She believes he may have actually played a role in Pimp's untimely death. That's a serious accusation, and it makes what happened next even more chilling. In early December 2007, Pimp was staying at the Mondrian Hotel in West Hollywood. He was focused, working on new music and preparing for an upcoming show with Too Short. Everything seemed normal until the morning of December 4th, which just so happened to be Jay-Z's birthday. That was the same day Pimp C was scheduled to fly home. But when his wife, Chinara, and his cousin Ed didn't hear from him at the airport, alarm bells went off. When Chinara called the hotel, staff checked his room and made a shocking discovery. Pimp C was unresponsive. Moments later, he was pronounced dead at just 33 years old. The coroner ruled it accidental, blaming a mix of codeine addiction and sleep apnea. But here's where things get strange. Too strange to ignore. DJ Paul from 3-6 Mafia revealed something chilling. He said he got a call from Pimp C's manager, Rick Martin, who had actually seen the body himself. And according to Rick, what he walked into didn't look natural at all. He claimed the room looked like a crime scene. Blood splattered on the walls, the kind of scene that made you think there had been gunfire. Rick said Pimp's body was found laid out like he was praying, but with blood all around him, almost like he'd been shot in the head. Rick admitted nobody could even make sense of it. The way Pimp was positioned, kneeling like he was in prayer, only added to the mystery. And then there were the candles. Those tall candles he always lit before going to bed. They were completely burned down, which told Rick one thing. Pimp had likely been gone for a whole day before anyone even checked on him. But the story doesn't stop there. Some of the people closest to him never believed the official version for a second. Insiders say Pimp C's mother, Weslyn Mama Wes Monroe, was convinced her son was poisoned. She openly rejected the coroner's findings and believed someone had been inside that hotel room with him the night he died. And it wasn't just family saying this. Julia Beverly, the journalist who wrote his biography, Sweet Jones, Pimp C's Trill Life Story, revealed that Mama Wes never once accepted the sleep apnea and codeine explanation. In her heart, she believed her son was silenced, taken out by poison. Circling back to that chilling final call between Pimp C and Bun B, the fact that Pimp told Bun straight up to watch your back speaks volumes. That wasn't just small talk. It was a warning. He clearly felt the weight of threats coming from powerful people in the industry, people he believed had the reach to silence him for good. Pimp C wasn't the type to just imagine enemies lurking in the shadows. He knew how this game really works, who pulls the strings behind the curtains, and what happens when you start exposing too much truth. That wasn't paranoia. That was survival instinct. So what do you think? Did Pimp C know someone was plotting against him? Is the official story about what happened in that hotel room way too neat to be trusted? Drop your thoughts in the comments, smash that like button, and don't forget to subscribe. I'll see you in the next video.